Imagine you wake up tomorrow morning, walk into your kitchen, and see a small glass jar on the counter with some loose bills inside. Nothing special, just a few notes you tossed in there without thinking. Maybe $20, maybe 50. Now, imagine that small amount of money had secretly been working for you while you slept. Imagine it grew by a few cents overnight, and the next morning it grew again and again. You never had to lift a finger for that growth to happen. This simple image is how the journey begins when someone decides to stop working in only 7 years. Not in 30 years, not in 20. The problem is that when you hear a timeline that short, your brain immediately resists it. It feels unrealistic or reserved for people with massive incomes. You might think that freedom is something you have to earn through decades of exhaustion and sacrifice. And yet, if you sit with this idea for a moment, you will see that the real barrier is not the math. The real barrier is the belief that a short timeline requires impossible amounts of money. But what if the number you actually need to invest each month was lower than you assume? What if that amount forces you to rethink everything you knew about wealth and freedom? Before we reveal that number, we must build a foundation. Think about every person who believes retirement is only possible at age 65. They follow a system designed for slowness. That system stretches the journey over 40 years because it expects you to save tiny amounts. It is a system built on the hope that the world will stay the same for 4 decades. But we know that is not true. To shorten the timeline to 7 years, you must switch to the logic of intensity and high-speed compounding. Compounding does not care how long you have, it only cares how consistently you feed it. If you feed it meaningful amounts for 7 years, it begins to accelerate in a way that feels unnatural. Look at your bank statements for a moment. Groceries, rent, fuel, and subscriptions probably add up to $2,000 or $3,000 a month. What if you built a system that paid all of that for you without needing a job? What if your bills were covered before you even opened your eyes in the morning? We are not talking about yachts. We are talking about the dignity of choice. To generate $36,000 per year safely, you need around $900,000 invested. At first glance, $900,000 in 7 years feels impossible, but the number you need to contribute each month to reach that figure is lower than you expect. The power comes from compounding returns and accelerated growth. Especially when the market dips, these forces multiply everything you do. You buy more shares at discount prices which accelerate your returns when the market recovers. When others are panicking, you are planting seeds for a massive harvest. Imagine you invest $2,000 per month at a real return of 7%. After 7 years, you accumulate roughly $200,000. That is not enough to retire yet. If you invest $4,000, you reach $400,000. You still fall short of the $900,000 needed, right? But here is the twist. The number required is not just about stacking money. It depends on how much your income can grow and how the market behaves. A single strong year can push your timeline forward dramatically. Wealth building is not a straight line. It is a curve that bends upward. If you start with $2,000 but increase it to $4,000 as you earn more, everything changes. The lowest monthly amount you need is not a fixed number. It is a dynamic number that rises with your ambition. To retire in 7 years with an income of $3,000 a month, the threshold is between $3,000 and $4,000 every single month. Once you feel the logic behind it, the path becomes surprisingly clear. Every dollar you invest in the early months carries far more weight than the dollars you invest later. These are the seeds with the longest exposure to the compounding effect. When you realize this, you start looking at your money differently. You see every dollar as a little soldier working for your freedom. You question every expense from a place of opportunity rather than guilt. You ask whether the money spent on something forgettable could instead be planted into your future. Every unnecessary purchase steals the future growth that money could have produced. It is like trading a whole forest for a single piece of fruit today. When this shift happens, you stop fighting to stay disciplined. You simply become someone who values future freedom more than present temptation. Imagine yourself 7 years from today on a random Tuesday morning. The sun is coming through the window and you are not rushing toward the door. You are not checking the clock or thinking about deadlines you do not care about. You are simply awake and present. Your investments paid for today and they will pay for tomorrow. You are not working for money anymore because your money is working for you. You compressed 30 years into 7 through concentrated action. You traded temporary comfort for permanent security. Once you reach that point, your portfolio generates real money every single month through dividends and appreciation. Even if you slow your contributions, the machine will not slow with you. It has enough mass to grow on its own. Market volatility is no longer an annoyance. It is your advantage. Many people give up early because they do not see this effect. They look at the first 2 years and think nothing is happening. But those who remain consistent witness the moment where the numbers suddenly bend upward. You might ask if $4,000 a month is truly achievable. If you earn $3,000 today, you simply need to move upward constantly. Add new skills and seek better opportunities to accelerate your income. Income is a flexible variable that you can stretch and expand with speed. Do not accept your current situation as your final destination. Once your income grows, the investment becomes expected because you see the machine building your freedom. This is the tipping point where your investments do as much work as you do. After that moment, the scale tips permanently, and the boulder rolls on its own. Retiring in 7 years is not just about money, it is about identity. You become someone who prioritizes long-term reward over short-term pleasure. You protect your attention and your energy. You stop following the crowd and start following the math. Picture reaching the end of these 7 years and feeling the shift. The sacrifices you made were actually investments into your future liberty. You stand at the doorway of a life where time belongs to you again. You are no longer a cog in the machine. You are the owner of the machine. Retiring in 7 years is a math problem combined with behavior. Even if the number feels heavy today, it will feel lighter as you build the habits that unlock this path. The question is not whether the journey is possible, but whether you started when you had the chance. Freedom requires courage and the willingness to believe that 7 years of discipline is worth a lifetime of freedom. If you are ready for this shift, decide today that your future is worth more than your distractions. Take the first step and start building your machine. Your future self will thank you for the freedom you are about to create. Thank you for listening, and I will see you on the other side of your journey.